the last 3 months, because of COVID-19, schools have been shut. I hope that these materials that we present today will be beneficial to students in their final year of secondary or high school.
We are all welcome to today's biology class for senior secondary schools and colleges. During our last class, we learned about display under the topic reproductive behavior. And today we are continuing from where we stopped during our previous class. And during our previous class, we were able to learn about the following. That is, display, the meaning of the word display. We learned it as a process that is carried out in a manner or pattern that is not changed and that ends in partners mating for the purpose of reproduction. And this is done or achieved when the two parties or animals involved respond positively. We also learned about the various types of display on that day as they are listed here. We've looked at how it is being done by lizards and other animals alike. So these are the things we have learned so far under display. Look, you see these diagrams, they are all displayed by animals. Excuse me. And we have also learned how it is also achieved or carried out by human beings. Dancing, singing, facial expression, beautiful and attractive dressing, makeup, and many other things that human beings do in order to attract the other gender for the purpose of mating and reproduction. So today we are going to look at what territoriality means as one of the courtship behaviors that we have under reproductive behavior. What is territoriality? But before I give the meaning of it, let me start by telling us briefly the meaning of territory. Territory simply means the area that is covered by a living thing. The space that is covered by a what? Living thing or an animal occupies, that is territory. The size, in other words, the size of where an animal lives or stays. Now, coming to the definition of territoriality. Territoriality is a form of behavior in which a member of a species marks out a fixed area and defends it against intruders of the same species. This behavior pattern is exhibited by most vertebrates except the amphibians. What this is telling us here is a territoriality simply means a particular group of living organisms. Let's say a tiger, for instance, will use its urine and mark out a particular area to itself where that particular tiger, for instance, stays with its mate for the sake of reproduction through mating. And the tiger here guards the mapped area or the mark area, such that any tiger, for instance, which is of its species, does not come in and what? Bring harm or takes away its what? Mate. So this is what is happening. It's just like a house where we have our rooms inside, but there are certain rooms that are meant for the what? Parents of a particular family, where most oftenly people don't go in anyhow or at wish, most especially visitors or strangers. So this is what is also what done by animals as well. Use their urine and what? Mark out a particular area, or that same animal will be patrolling, will be going around that area, telling the other animals that this particular area is not for you, it is my own. If you dare come in, fight will now what? Take place. So that is how territoriality is what? Practiced. In most cases, it is the males that what? Mark out these areas or these territories, or get their what? Size of land or portion of where they are living for themselves. It is not the females. This is the way it is, as it is done by what? Human beings. A man ought to go out, get his own house for his family. This is what the animals that are lower also do. The males will now what? Go to a particular area, make sure that the area is safe, then mark it, and they will now use their what? Urine, for instance, or they will be patrolling that area, as I've earlier said, trying to tell other animals that this is my own what? Territory, this is my own place, this is my own what? Area. Any animal, for instance, any male animal that intrudes is chased away or is being what? Scared away by that same animal that has mapped out that area through any display that threatens the life or safety of that animal that tries to intrude. For instance, if a fight takes place whereby the threats that have been what? Displayed could not send away the animal that is intruding, the males hardly hurt each other. They don't hurt themselves easily. But the owner of the territory tries by all means to smart the intruder and sends the intruder away. Females, however, may be allowed to enter into the territory. You know, by default, female gender or genders have been known to be weak. So, if a male gender is fighting, it is going to be mostly with the male. But if it is for the sake of mating, that same male will allow so many females to intrude into its territory because it is to the male's advantage. In other words, the male animal is going to have what? Numerous females for mating. So that is why it is mostly seen that the females are allowed into a territory that has been what? Marked out by a male, and that same male have been sending away its fellow male away. The next thing is territorial behavior ensures that breeding pairs or groups obtain adequate food and space. It also ensures that only the fittest individual breed, passing on their favorable characteristics or features or attributes or qualities or traits to their offspring. Male fishes, for instance, reptiles, for instance, agama lizards, birds, and mammals show great deal of territorial behavior. What this is telling us here is, like it is with the higher animals, in lower animals, the male oftenly provides not only that shelter or the area that has been marked, but as well provide food for the female. So they behave in like manner as we human beings or higher animals do. They tend to both provide safety for the females, provide food for the female, provide shelter for the female, and make sure that the female is always or mostly comfortable under the male's guard. And for the offspring that they are going to give birth to, they make sure that they give birth to good individual or breed or species or their kind. In other words, they make sure that their offspring are fit by providing them with all the necessary things. If it is food, food. If it is shelter, shelter. If it is fighting skills, they provide them with fighting skills. And they make sure that these traits or features or attributes or qualities that they have, being the parents of the offspring, are passed on to or are given to their offspring, such that the offspring as well will now grow up with these attributes or characters or features or traits, so that their generation continuously possess these characters. That is how it has always been from inception with animals. That is why today you might have seen or observed around you the way tigers or cats or lizards or any other animal behaved in the past. That is the same way the present animals are also behaving, if it is of the same species and if these animals have been passed on the necessary characters or attributes. So this is what territoriality is all about. Before we conclude, here are some of the examples of territorial behaviors. This is an example of a territorial behavior that is exhibited by a tiger. This tiger, as it is seen here, it is patrolling its territory, trying to tell the other tigers that this is my area. As far as you remain a male tiger, you are not welcome. except if you are a female tiger, which is going to be to my advantage. So this is what this tiger is what exhibiting here. We have these cats here also. You see how they are what behaving here, trying to what cut themselves and mate, thereby what producing their own kind in form of offspring later on. This is what happens preceding mating and preceding what reproduction. The same thing with these cats here as well. This is how they behave. If you are watching all these wildlife movies, you might have been seeing this even in your what a house, for those of us that keep cats as our pets. So you observe this, you see this behavior that is shown here being exhibited by these cats. This is how tiger is what trying to guard its own what territory. In this case here, these are two male tigers. The other one has marked its territory, while the other one here is what trying to intrude. Then fight emanated here. This is how it is. It's just like the way we human beings also do it. You see a man dying for the sake of his what wife. If it is a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, the same thing. A boy or a male gender will fight for his lady. The same thing in reverse order. If it is a married couple, the female surely, if it is seen that some ladies are what patrolling her husband, she will now what fight for her husband, fight for what belongs to her. We have seen it. In the case of human beings, sometimes it ends up in death, where either of the gender will what kill the other person that is after his or her gender, or wife or husband. So this is what is seen here. Aggressive fight over what female mating partner. So the same thing here, look at it. Another fight is shown here. So this is how all these things happen. So by and large, today we have learned about territoriality and how this territoriality is being practiced. And we have seen the definition or meaning of it to be mapping or marking a particular area for the sake of mating and subsequently reproduction. We have also learned under territoriality that it is the male's responsibility to provide space, in other words, shelter for the female. And this same male animal provides food, security for the female. Again, one of the things that happens under territoriality is what? Fight. Whenever a male tries to intrude into the other area that has been mapped by the other male, fight emanates. So these and many other things do happen under territoriality. With this, we've come to the end of today's class. And by the grace of God, during our next class, we are going to look at the next type of courtship behavior, which is going to be seasonal migration. I hope you enjoyed today's class, and I hope to be with you during our next class. Until then, remain blessed and study seasonal migration as a what? A type of courtship behavior under reproductive behavior in biology. Once again, thank you and God bless you. Bye.